Hey, what's going on? This is 415 Boxing. Back with another vid. I want to talk a little bit about Terence Crawford. He has a fight scheduled December 10th of this year. Still, excuse me. He still doesn't have an opponent. Um, I would have thought after he beat Victor Postol that people will be lining up to fight him because if you can beat him, what I'm saying, your name gonna ring bells. Um, I don't know if it's because I do know two things. Terrence Bud Crawford is a high risk, no reward type fighter. Um, Fighting Terrence Crawford, it's not like you're gonna make a hell of a lot of money. I do understand why the fight with Terrence Crawford and Victor Postol happened because they were the two best 140-pound champions at that time. So it was a fight that needed to happen. However, it was a fight that truly didn't need to be on pay per view, and the numbers obviously reflected that. And I think as of right now, that's kind of hurting Terrence Crawford because he didn't put up the numbers that they were hoping for. Now, the MGM Grand fits about 16,000 people. Now, they, made over that arena to only fit about 9,000 people, and he sold a little over 7,000 tickets. You know what I mean? There were too many empty seats. You know what I mean? So that's not really a good thing, and that's a big reason why he probably doesn't have an opponent. But I think that's kind of stupid because obviously his next fight it would not be on pay per view. It'd be on regular HBO. You know what I mean? You would think that if Terrence Crawford, quote unquote, is Bob Arum's next Mayweather, he would be doing more to try to get him fights. Now, in my opinion, the problem is there's nobody left for him to fight at 140 unless you want to possibly throw Adrian Broner's name into the mix. But the problem with that is Adrian Broner fights under the PBC umbrella, and obviously Terrence Bud Crawford fights under the Top Rank umbrella. So it shouldn't be impossible because it's really not impossible. But these promoters make it impossible to make these fights because they're unwilling to work with one another. You know what I mean? So to me, the logical solution is for Terrence Crawford to to move up to 147. You know what I mean? There's fights that he can, get. I mean, I don't know if he'll necessarily get the Pacquiao fight because I don't really know what Pacquiao's going to do, uh, whether he wins or loses after he fights Jesse Vargas. But there is Tim Bradley. Those two are friends. Tim Bradley said he would never fight him, but if you look at Bradley's history, he tends to do whatever the money dictates. And I think that he could possibly make a pretty substantial amount of money fighting Tim Bradley. And there's Jesse Vargas, uh, the Ali kid that got knocked out by Vargas. There is some options, and obviously there are the PBC guys, but that seems virtually impossible to make happen. But at the same time, there are more options fighting guys at top rank at 147 rather than 140. So we'll see what happens, man. But looking forward to the future of Terrence Crawford. Peace.